dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time you...
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics, the show where we look at nostalgic cars that are over 15 years old. You can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 1989 MG Montego 2-litre EFI. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the Montego was launched in 1984, a year after the Maestro. First of all, it carried Austin and MG badges, but by 1987 the Austin name started disappearing from the cars, and particularly after the 1988 facelift, the cars were just known as a Montego with no Rover badge whatsoever. The company had been renamed from Austin Rover to the Rover Group at that stage, and we didn't think that the older cars that were around, the Metro, Maestro and Montego, were worthy of having that badge. The MG versions, though, continued as they were until about 1992, I think. And this one has a 2-litre Row Series fuel injection, generating around 115 horsepower. It certainly seems fast enough, although because of my Great British Car Journey at Ambergate in Derbyshire, I'm restricted today to a test drive around the industrial estate, which has a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, so we can't test for more than 60 times. I think it's about 8.5 seconds in this, which is a shame, because this thing just wants to go. The gearing is actually reasonably tall in this. I'm in second, it just wants to go, but I can't put my foot down because I would be breaking the speed limit, so I won't. Instead, we'll just change into first in this lovely Honda Drive PG1 gearbox. So the base engine in the Montego, which was only available with a 1.3 base specification, was a A-Series OHV with 68 horsepower. Far more at home really in something like a Metro or a Maestro than one of these. One above that was the 1.6 S-Series, that probably powered, you know, a number of Montegos back in the day, which had 86 horsepower. The transmission options on those were either a 5-speed manual from Volkswagen or an automatic. You could also get automatic on this 2-litre Row Series, and actually it was available in several flavours. There was the carb option with 104 horsepower. I think I get the engine in this car megs up with the carb one a little bit later on. And then above this 115 brake horsepower fuel injected model, there was the Montego Turbo. Oh, absolutely crazy. I remember a video from 1985 which showed Steve Soper and Ian Ogilvy going for a drive in the new Montego Turbo around Thruxton, and then driving it all the way to London. It's available on YouTube if you want to have a look at it. Going about kind of things like the steering and handling. Actually, it's really good. For some reason, this particular car, I don't know what it is. It just seems a little bit tricky to drive around cones than I thought it was. I don't know. The only one I can compare it to is the Sierra. Maybe it's just not running right or something. I don't know. But yeah, the PG1 gearbox in this is nice and slick. It's much better than the Volkswagen gearbox I tried in many Maestros. Apologies for the wind noise and the road in the background viewers. Despite being registered in March 1989, this is a pre-facelift Montego. The facelift occurred sort of middle to late 1988. Weather's not been too good, so it's just a bit of... Well, I've literally just been driven around the site actually, which is fine. A lot of you will like the look of this MG Montego, and I do too. I prefer the Van den Pla. That's my favourite Montego. Very rare now actually, but this looks really good. Pre-facelift ones like this had the kind of rear lights, I think inspired by the Mercedes W123. Someone's even fitted a nice high-level brake light, which is a nice period one. It's like the one that my mother had on her old Volvo 240. So there is an internal boot release, but I think we can use this. There we go. Yeah, someone's been having fun in this car. Look, you've got some balloons. Excellent. Well, I'm happy too. Open up this thing here, and down there we've got a spare. Fantastic. It's an alloy spare too. Brilliant. Like all the cars over here, it's in very nice kind of original condition. Even the boot liner is perfect. Quite a nice sort of relatively low opening for one of this time, although obviously having the rear lights like that means that you know, it's not the widest opening, but if you were bothered about that kind of thing, you could get an estate, although not an MG one. Oh look, the boot light still works. Fantastic. I love this kind of big reflective panel as well in the middle. It's ever so 1980s. So yes, nice colour keyed bumpers. Lovely alloy wheels. I think these are the later type of alloy wheels they would have had, very similar to ones on the MG Maestro, and later the Rover 216 GTI had these as well as option on the GSI. The glass house to the side does look a bit strange when you think about it, looking at the sort of the rearmost windows at the side. But that was something that was inherited from having to basically use the same platform as the Maestro and the same doors. But I think it looks okay. The estates look a bit different. A lot of people prefer the look of them, but I think this still looks good. So yeah, familiar things here, these door handles and the locking knobs and the little ashtray bits and the window winder handles and all sorts of things. We're actually going to get in the other side, I think. So we've got some bits in there. So the wheelbase, I think, is a little bit longer than on the Maestro, so you get a little bit more interior in. This one's pull the passenger seat all the way back like that. But yeah, headroom is fine. It's not the most. I think the headlining is very slightly sagging at the back, which is quite common on these. It's not bad. You know, a lot of them are worse than this, but if it's not sagging, then actually the headroom is perfectly decent. If someone reclined the seat a little bit further, then it would be fine. With these mat pockets are good. They've actually got ashtrays either side, which is fabulous. Just windy windows here. Door pulls in Montego have always been a little bit strange to me like this. And we've got all sorts of exciting things in the front, which we'll have a look at in a little while. But yeah, I think these are really, really great cars actually. The build quality is not always the best in these. There were problems with fit and finish and electrical problems, things like that, but yeah, I still think these are good. We've even got these sort of rather lumpy seats at the back with the head restraints built in. Oh, and an armrest. The fabric feels good. It's typical sort of Austin Rover fabric, although by this stage the Austin Rover doesn't exist anymore by 1989. Although we've still got the logo on the key there. Yeah, more headroom in the estate. Oh, we've got, I forgot we had actual courtesy lights either side. Does that one work? Maybe not. Not a big problem, but. And some grab handles. Right, let's get out and we'll get round to the front. So it's quite easy to get in and out. It's not bad at all. Yeah, the 88.5 facelift ones are a little bit different from this. I love the colour keyed sort of sides, with side skirts, but with lower air dam and also the mirrors. This one's only done 43,000 miles. Where do they find them? Yeah, red bits. I would have preferred actually red seat belts in this, like an MG Metro, but you can't have everything, can you? Oh, little coin trim with those. Rover 800 mirror switch with electric mirrors. In 1991, in 91 the Maestro received a slightly different dash. It had also been in this after the facelift. Actually, again, you can tell it's a pre-facelift because the controls, heating and ventilation are in a slightly different place on those. But yeah, we've got digital clock up there. We've got this enormous ashtray. We've got 3 ashtrays in this car. Very early MG Montegos did have a digital instrument display, but of course this is the later one, so it doesn't have that. Or I should say it's the sort of more standard one. Fog lamps there, reheated window, Philips cassette deck, very common on sort of Austin Rover products. If you've got a Van den Ploy, you can get 4 electric windows as well on the bottom, which is good. 5-speed manual PG1 Honda-derived gearbox in this, rather than the Volkswagen unit on the 1.3, 1.6 Montegos. These extremely familiar stalks to anyone who drove sort of Metros, Maestros and Montegos up to about like 94, 95 was the sort of last of them, because the Metro was rated over 100 and had different stalks. I'm not going to sound the horn, viewers. Again, like the Fords of the year, we have the hazard light switch on top where you can find it nice and easily. Again, all these kind of instruments are so familiar to me because my grandfather owned something like 5 Maestros, and I've driven about 6 Maestros and 2 Montegos, so there we go. Yeah, nice handbrake grip, again something I remember very well. I wonder if that's big enough to be secret mission documents. I'll have to see in a second. Door bid's not particularly good, like a lot of things would fall out of there. You could see whether you could put maybe some stuff in the door, but that's not actually where you can put anything, I don't think. I don't think there's a lid on there, which is a shame. The tray down there for odds and ends, and an electric sunroof I'm not going to touch because I don't know if that works. Oh, super cover, yes please. And the mirror has been removed. Oh well, I don't need that anywhere on private land, that's not a big concern. And cigarette lighter there. Right, to show you the controls down there for the boot and the fuel release that are in a ton of 1990s and 2000s Rovers, some MGs I think as well. And there is the bonnet release. We'll have a look at the engine next. Someone's very helpfully marked the bonnet stay for me, thank you very much, whoever you are. This has the 2-litre O series engine in it, which develops in this application about 105 horsepower. O series was developed for originally the Morris Marina in about 1978, but it continued. I think the last cars to use it were the Maestro and Montego, really Montego actually, because the MG versions were discontinued by about 1992 I think, so it would have been just Montego Estates possibly. We used it about 94 I think. But yeah, pretty easy to work on. They've got a cam belt in them, which is on this side, so you've got to make sure that's been done. They can leak oil, but this one's really dry actually. This is a really clean and tidy engine actually for an old Montego. Yeah, Lucas in there. Brakes don't have a remote servo, it's right in front, so that's good. I don't know about parts availability on these. They're so rare actually in Montegos. They're far rarer than Maestros. So that is something you've got to watch out for if you want to buy bits for them. And there's the old Austin Rover logo again. Yeah, a lot of people are not so keen on the Montegos because they weren't necessarily that well developed, and they took a long time to actually get to market, but they actually drive really well. And with that said, I can't resist taking it another drive, viewers. But yeah, clearly this isn't the ideal car for threading through city streets. It wants to go to Thruxton and sort of be hustled around there, and it's always the way with these. If you compare this with sort of like a Sierra or a Cavalier, they're the sort of main rivals for this really in our market, and they do feel kind of different. Cavalier I think is also very good to drive, but they didn't really have an engine that was this powerful. For quite a long time during the Cavalier's life, although by 89 they had the Mark III out that had a selection of really tasty engines. So yeah, this is a late pre-facelift one. It was registered maybe 6 months after the facelift came in for some reason. And you know, we've got rattles from the dash, we've got rattles from over there, things like that. It's really common on these. I've yet to drive a Montego, it's the third one I've driven, that doesn't have dash rattles. And supposedly the Maestro dash that came in '83, was changed in January '86, is worse for rattles, but I've always found these not so good. This one is a very good one actually in terms of the condition, and actually it doesn't rattle as much as the last two that I drove. But there we go. I've really enjoyed myself in this. I always enjoy driving Montegos, and I do hope one day I might own one. And I'd like a Vanden Plas, but the numbers of those around, it's something like kind of upper single digit or lower double digits. So yeah, that might not happen, but you know, never mind. Some of you will like this car, some of you won't. It's very much matters of personal taste, I think. Let's now look at some Montego trim levels. So the first ones of them were the base, which I think was only available with a 1.3 engine, the L, HL, HLS, and the Vanden Plas, and of course the MG. Later on, we had such trim levels as the Mayfair, the GSI, the GTI, the Clubman, the LX, the SL, the SLX, the Advantage, the SI, and the GSI Executive. The GSI was sort of a replacement for the Vanden Plas, and things like the SL and LX replaced things like the Mayfair. So viewers, should you consider a Montego with your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000 as a sensible second-hand classic? Well, for years these were no budget reviews cars. I think the MG versions, particularly the turbo, are the more desirable. I've seen MG turbo versions go for £15,000. I've seen some just normal EFI or 2 litre I Montegos go for, you know, £5,000 to £10,000. But more some normal versions are a lot less than that actually, apart from the Vanden Plas. Those don't come up for sale very often, but I kind of want one, and I will have for some time. You've got to watch for rust, you've got to watch for sort of bits of fragile trim, electrics, suspension, that kind of thing. And actually, if you need parts, that could be a bit of a problem because they're not very common, these cars, anymore. But probably like some of you, I just have a very nostalgic glow for Maestros and Montegos. Montegos drive better than the Maestros actually as well. So if it were me, I'd have one of these with a Vanden Plas badge on it. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below. Thank you to Great British Car Jenny for letting me have a go in one of her other lovely exhibits. And we shall see you again soon for more reasonably priced nostalgic motoring.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Every blue day, every day with blue skies.